have an excellent panel today to talk us through some of these changes. I will introduce them now. I think they're hovering around the stage, so let's bring them up here. Royce, as a broker, as I said at the beginning, I think you're fairly new in the vehicle logistics space, if I'm not wrong, maybe about a year or so. So in a way, born in this disruption, I guess you can say, or at least your service is here. How is it making you engage with customers perhaps in a different way than traditional players might have been?
Yeah, so I've never really loved the term broker. I've been in the industry in logistics and supply chain for 22 years now, and I've always looked at our role in the supply chain as solutions providers. My goal is to come in and analyze problems like you're discussing right now, and problems that Ray's bringing up, and see if we can provide a solution there. So when we approach an OEM or a marketer or a financials company, we just want to have dialogue. We're not coming in saying, hey, just give us VINs, we'll ship them. We want to know where the skeletons are buried. We want to know what the issues are. And our team will collaborate, and then we source to our carrier market. If we don't have the carrier market to provide those solutions, we're okay saying that. We're not going to make promises that we can't commit on, and we're not going to promise something that our carriers can't commit on either. So we need to know exactly what they need financially, what they need from a consistency basis, so they can build their assets around that opportunity. So I think we look at it a little bit differently. We're problem solvers, we're solutions providers, and if we can provide a solution and make that supply chain better and more efficient and more transparent, then we'll bring those opportunities to our shippers. If we can't, we'll tell them we can't, and we'll try to find a new solution, but it's just going to take more time.
And I guess I think you've grown pretty strongly in the last year, but have you had to say no despite that, given
we've had significant growth, and I think our honesty is why. Yeah, we have had to say no. We've had to ask for more information. I think one of the biggest challenges that we've found is getting some of our shippers to really be open and honest about what problems they're having, right? Not everybody wants to admit that there's a problem, or that a mistake may have been made, or they didn't find a solution. So getting that open dialogue is the key for us. The more information we have, the more data we can work with, the better solution we can provide. So in times when we just don't have enough information, or we feel that we can't provide a better solution, we will say no. Yeah.
We spoke earlier in several sessions about obviously trying to improve efficiency, partly to retain drivers that are there, because obviously volume isn't exactly high, so we should have the capacity that's there. Justin, what you talked about with the network planning, I mean, are we leaving effectively still a lot of slack in the system, or so to speak, is it, for all the challenges that we're facing, actually could we be doing this much smarter? Royce, do you identify that as a solutions provider? Are you getting deeper into that space as well?
Yeah, I think, especially over the last 9 months, we've definitely seen our opportunities became more diverse. From the traditional 8, 9, 10 car hauler loads nationwide to, hey, I've got these 4 singles, they have to go 400 miles in separate directions. So, I think for us, that's a huge opportunity, because I think the consumer has definitely changed, right? So that's a forward-thinking way of driving that change through a network that is becoming more and more fragmented because of all the diversity that's been created through COVID. So yeah, that has been a challenge, but it's been a fun challenge for us to attack, and we've really built out our carrier network to provide solutions like that. And we're very cognizant of brand awareness of who we're working for, so we want to make sure we know who's delivering that vehicle. We want to see what the actual truck looks like that's delivering it, what the driver is wearing. We go through a coaching process, especially if it's home delivery, so it is a different process, but I think it's a huge opportunity that's definitely not going away.
Yeah. No, but Justin, there again, we come back to digital optimization opportunities, and talk to us a little bit more about where, if there's other innovations or opportunities that you're seeing in this area. Royce, in terms of these use of data and digital solutions, is that built into the way you're working with your customers and potential and the carriers that you partner with?
Oh yeah, it started back in 2016 with simple things like live track and trace, right? Now we're bringing data into route optimization, but one thing that we're building on our end is capacity optimization with our carrier network. If I have a carrier that has empty capacity on that truck driving right past one of my customers, why can't I throw one more VIN on, one more vehicle on, right? So I think one thing that's forgotten in this is the carrier. How do we help the carrier improve and optimize their capacity, right? So our focus is always from the carrier perspective first. The issues with, obviously fuel costs, driver retention. How do we make sure that our carriers can grow? And the best way is to optimize their capacity, optimize their routing, to allow them to turn more miles, more efficiently, more effectively. And the more cars that are on that truck, the more the driver is going to get paid, the more the carrier is going to make. And so, yeah, we're bringing that data internally and sourcing our carrier network to maximize their capacity throughout their network in a non-contractual way, because it has to fit their network. They're contracted to the OEM. We understand that, but we still want to be a solutions provider for them and help them maximize their growth.
Great. I want to go back to the customer again, or let's say the end customer. Ray talked about the business model as it shifted to is obviously positive in many ways, given better profits for dealers, for OEMs, the turn rate we talked about. But as we also talked about in the very first session with Chris and Steve, where we sort of indicated, we're sort of slapping the customer in the face sometimes. We might be happy with the business model, but is the customer happy? And can you give us some perspective? We know, you said right up front, the dealers say ETA is a big deal. Do you have concerns that actually your customers who are paying more and waiting longer will run out of patience in some way? Royce, we talked about kind of knowing what the driver is wearing. Does that, in this case, is that increasingly including having an understanding of knowledge of the product that they're delivering, so that they can facilitate that?
Yeah. So as we're building out this home delivery network, we've been tasked to do that for a couple OEMs and a couple of remarketing companies. The brand awareness is key, right? So when you're interviewing carriers and interviewing drivers to put them in that scenario, and they are the face of the brand for the consumer, for the customer, you have to go through everything from the paperwork that's required, the digital signatures, how do you build out that tablet, how do you build out the technology, what is the technology that's in place, does the OEM have the technology that you're just going to integrate into your software, or is it something that they're asking us to build? We're seeing both. Yeah. But then it gets down to the driver education. Currently, we haven't been tasked to ask the driver to show them how to use the vehicle, but I'm sure it's coming, right? So that's something they're going to have to teach us, or that's something that we're going to send our drivers in that market to their local dealer or their local distribution center, and they're going to walk that driver through that training. So there's coaching from our end on the logistics side and the brand awareness side, and then there's going to have to be coaching from the OEM, from the remarketer on what their expectations are on that home delivery service, and that entire model is going to be individualized to each OEM and to each remarketing company. It's not, one size fits all type of program. Volkswagen's different than Nissan or Toyota or Tesla, right? So, yeah, it is a big undertaking, but once again, it's an exciting undertaking because, I think sometimes change can scare people. It, for some reason, excites me because that's how big ideas come to fruition, right? And that's how big opportunities play out. So we're attacking it head on. We're using technology partners that have come from the Amazon world and that consumer network world to try to build that type of network within the home delivery network that we're building out.
Yeah. Royce, your vision for being the service provider, if you like, of the future customer?
Yeah, I think, the digitization of this space is only going to continue to grow through AI and technologies like Inform, between route optimization, capacity optimization, and just shipment optimization, right? So, the consumer or the customer of the future, it's now. Right? I mean, you get Uber Eats, you get DoorDash from your thumbs, you get Amazon from your thumbs. My niece ordered a Jeep a month ago with her phone, right? So that's not the old way of buying a car, looking under the hood and kicking the tires. And her expectations is to have that delivered at her house when it's ready. So, with that mindset, I do love the word frictionless. It is an absolute must in how things are purchased today and how, the consumer wants their product. It has to be frictionless, it has to be simple, and it has to be now. It's a lot of work, it's going to take a lot of effort, but I do think, I always kind of look at, I use this in my business all the time, do you want to be Blockbuster or you want to be Netflix? Right? I mean, going to Blockbuster and buying a video was easy and it was fine. Netflix was better, right? So what's better? How do we make it more frictionless for the future? How do we make it more consumer-centric? And how do you build out that home delivery network that gives you that dealer expectation, right? That's going to be the challenge.
If only Netflix had come up with a way to charge customers $3 for like a late stream return, then I think they would really, really have cracked it, right?
Or fix their share price.
Yeah. Absolutely.